Hello, everybody. This is Noah Industries coming back to you with another lab. This is Lab 11, and we're going to talk about Docker and more specifically the differences between containers and virtual machines and why businesses, especially technology-backed businesses, are starting to lean towards using containers within their infrastructure. So, obviously, these are not the containers you've grown up knowing about. This is a technical term. So, for those who don't know, containers are essentially they're it's kind of hard to explain, but they're essentially just these isolated sort of areas where applications are allowed to run on a host operating system. So, the operating system that's native to your Mac or your PC or your Linux machine or whatever. Um, these are these containers are really only built to use um, for application use. They're not going to do anything more than that. And on the operating system that's native to your machine, they run as applications. So as you can see in the first picture I have here, uh, this is your infrastructure. This is your machine. This is your host operating system, Windows, Mac, etc. This is Docker, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. And then these are the containerized apps. These are your containers right here. This is your container right here. You've got app A, app B, app C, app D, app E, app F. And what this is they're all running on one host operating system. This is one instance. This is one sort of workload right here. Um, and that's important to know when we talk about the differences between virtual machines and containers. Now, virtual machines are individual apps that appear on any operating system, whether native or not native to the machine. And they run apps sort of solo by themselves on each virtual machine. So as you can see the differences between the containerized application model and the virtual machine model, App A is running on one operating system, whether native or non-native, and it's one instance right here, and each app is a separate instance. Now, the differences between the two, obviously, are containerized applications are using one instance on the main native host operating system and running it all together on one workload, whereas the virtual machine's got a ton of different workloads, taking up a ton more power, and and just running multiple operating systems at the same time. Um, so obviously, you can see why the containerized application model and the idea of containers within a technology backed business are growing exponentially and becoming the first choice for many entrepreneurs and developers is just because it all runs on your native operating system. Excuse me, all runs on your native operating system, and it all runs in one instance, one workload at the same time, which obviously is taking up a lot less power than running several different virtual machines with several different apps going on operating systems that, yeah, might be native to your machine or might be completely different and completely non-native. So for businesses, using apps like Docker, which is sort of open source container for developers that they can use and develop within, are now becoming more popular with these technology backed businesses and workers, is just because it's more organized, it's more centralized, it's more compartmentalized. It's just there as one unit, as one cohesive unit. And we're going to show you a little demonstration using Docker. Um, do it over here. So Docker on the to start, and this is just a this is just a this is just a practice. So first you add a new instance. Here it's got your port, your IP. This is the command prompt. And your first command is going to be up here. It's going to be this from our GitHub folder. And you're going to place that in there, copy and paste. And then your next command is going to be ls-la. This is just ensuring that you're at the right server, right port, you're typing in the right commands. And then the next command you're going to type in is docker compose. Just like this, docker -compose. And then it's going to take a little bit to run. It's got to do its thing, give it a little bit of time. And then finally, just to double check and upload the build so that we can access Drupal, if you haven't already guessed. Copy and paste docker compose up. And it takes a little bit of time here. It's downloading. Actually, something I realized you can also do, you can open port. And that's another way to access Drupal. But I've learned that I got to give it a little bit of time in order for it to work and for me to successfully navigate to the Drupal main page. It's a little bit longer. Downloading, as you can see, this is a good sign. It's working. It's extracting files. So this is super easy with the following the GitHub instructions. Anybody can do this. This program is incredibly easy to use, this demo playground. Here we go. And there it is, Drupal, ready for you to use and build your own sites. So as you can see, businesses are obviously going to choose something like Docker, an open source container playground or infrastructure, just because it's so easy to use. Many developers are aware of what a command prompt is and understand commands within Ubuntu, Linux, stuff like that. So it's just a no-brainer choice rather than running many different virtual machines. All right, guys, thank you. And this has been Noah Industries.